Hi friends, Philip Jones, Martini Whisperer here. The bar is open as you can see. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to share with you some of my favourite gin books, both as a resource and for some, dare I say, some gin inspiration as well. So in no particular order, David T. Smith, which is a fantastic book called The Gin Dictionary. So literally an A to Z of things like botanicals, distillation methods, of course the dirty martini, distillation, of course, different acts back in England in the 1720s, 1735, 1751, all pretty much around trying to get taxation. So that's nothing new to any distillers out there. Type of recipes, of course, martini gadgets. So here's, for example, back in the day, where we've removed the dried, as you know, the dry martini, the less vermouth you have in it. And sometimes they got really carried away and you're using little syringes to dip your vermouth into the drink. Things like that. So that's a really great book. What is Navy strength gin, of course. Any gin bottled at 100% Old British proof, that's 57.15% ABV, alcohol by volume. So 57, 58% ABV, as we say, is considered Navy strength or Navy gin. The alcoholic strength is the only criterion against which a gin to be judged to be Navy strength or not. To create a Navy strength gin, some distillers simply bottled their flagship gin at a higher strength by adding less water after distillation. That's when they cut it. Others might do a different botanical profile, for example, he says. And Navy gin originated in the Blackfriars distillery in Plymouth, an old bottle there, where they started producing 100% proof gin for the Royal Navy back in the 1850s. And there was some anecdotal law about if you could have some gunpowder, pour your gin over it and light it, and it would light, you knew you were dealing with proper Navy strength gin and hadn't been diluted. So anyway, David T. Smith, thank you for that. The Gin Dictionary, look out for that. This is a great read by Olivia Williams, and it's really the story of gin in England and how it really got going. So it reads very much like a novel, and it's all the who's who and the shenanigans, and again the politics of it all, and the laws of it, and the social trends and all the rest of it. But what equally interesting is all the family names. So you think about Gilberts, Gordons, Tanquerays, and so forth. How they got going and what happened to them. And often there was a bit of the booths, for example. So all the famous English brands, the London Dry brands that we know and love today, all had to start somewhere. And this book goes into that, and it's a great read. So yeah, Olivia Williams, Gin, Glorious Gin. Highly recommended. Now, this is from America, yes. Matt Teacher, this is a great volume as well. Again, all things gin, but also some fantastic recipes, like the Corpse Reviver #2. It's a very handsome book, as you can see. It's a bit of a tome. Beautifully done. So about all sorts of styles of gin, especially including American ones, so called New World, New Western, or contemporary gins. And then breaks down them by brand. And of course, there are thousands of gin brands, as we know, all around the world by now. But this is a really nice, handy book, and this goes again into the makings of, the history of, and again, tons and tons and tons of really great recipes. And it's got a fun fact here, for example, this is in gallons. It says the spirit consumption in Britain, 1684, 572,000 gallons was consumed. 1700, 1.2 million. 1710, 2 million. Well, I guess you couldn't drink the water too well those days. 1730, 3 million gallons. 1735, 6 million gallons, oh my lord. And 1743, a whole 8 million gallons was consumed apparently in England. God knows how they got anything done. So, Matt Teacher, Gin, a story miscellany of the new gin revival. So, that's a really fun book too. What have we got here? This is by Tristan Stephenson. A handsome book. This is very much around, again, the story of like some famous distilleries like Portobello Road. I love their gin. London Dodds, very interesting gin. Curran. So gin companies around the world. Let's not forget that pretty much every country pretty much makes gin, like Spain in particular. Italy makes some great gins as well, like the Occitan. Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark. I could go on and on. No news to you, I am sure. But anyway, he goes into that. A lot more detail about some American, like Pew is a really nice American label. I enjoy that. Death's Door, St. George. So in the back there, it's got a lot of American distillers. And St. George Distilling, which I had the pleasure, St. George Spirits in the Bay Area outside San Francisco. I had the pleasure of visiting them a few years ago now, it feels like. Lovely, lovely, lovely people, and there's an article on my website about my visit there one day. So yes, Tristan Stephenson, The Curious Bartender's Gin Palace. Of course, Gin Palace was the place you drank gin in London, and they became very glamorous affairs indeed. And last but not least, this is terrific. Aaron Knoll, this is one of the first books that came out in the new wave, when Woolies and Contemporary, as the new Western contemporary style gin emerged. And this book popped up, and again, it's all pre-appy. Same sort of idea, really. Styles of gin, the role of botanicals, of course, that give gin its unique characters, how it's made. So very simple, easy to understand. All about the various botanicals, orris root, cassis, and again goes into various styles of gin, examples derived from around the world. So this is again a really great read, Art and Craft of the Artisan Revival in 300 distillations. So 300 distillers of this new wave of gin by Aaron Knoll. Great book. All right, so there you are. There's 5 books to look out for. Gin Dictionary, Gin Curious Gin, The Spirit of Gin, The Gin Palace. And so here's you. See you next time.